Tyson very easy, but not enough. Friend knows the president that he put here, I will put the neck up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, huge monster, big meter. And
We had traveled thousands of miles on a long and uncomfortable journey to reach Sana'a, the capital of Yemen, in transit to Socotra Island. Only days before, the city had been taken over by rebel forces, and although calm, there were hints of political unease. People questioned our sanity, but we still went ahead with the trip simply because deep in our hearts was the undying passion for discovering new places. The overnight journey to the first island of the trip was aboard a diesel-powered Yemeni fishing boat called the Sambak. It was far from luxurious, and we slept in a cramped crowd on the exposed top deck. The boat engines were terribly noisy, and there was a cacophony of different languages being shouted out over their racket. Our spirits were lifted, and all the fatigue from the long journey was quickly forgotten. Why were we here? Well, first of all was the need to satisfy our passion for exploration. The second reason was to test the fly fishing potential of the Socotra Island for bonefish. And I was here to document our experience. Each day we found ourselves in the same routine of eating the same basic food that was mainly a kind of flatbread washed down with deathly sweet tea. The food was basic, but okay. I always had to be sure all our equipment was functional. Keeping equipment charged and clean was a nightmare.
Look at these boats. These are the ice? Yeah. But this is the biggest I've ever seen, eh? We're really in the middle of the desert here, and because of that, water is extremely precious. We don't want to be wasting water on silly things like shaving. So I'm going to be using WD-40, and yeah, you know, it's important to look good at all times. Yeah, we don't need all that metrosexual bullshit. Yeah? No metrosexual. Yeah. Okay. Ask him.
Yes.
This is very bad, huh? Very bad drawing. This fish,
هذا الصيد ولا؟
it's got a big eye, huh?
يعني عنده العيون كبير هذا.
The mouth underneath.
Okay.
And it's living on the sand.
يعني يعيش تحت التراب.
The color is, give me a watch.
Yes.
Is this color.
هذا اللون أبيض.
Silver.
Silver. مش يعني مش
is similar.
This beach.
On the beach. Photo. Say cheese, huh?
Cheese.
Not yet. Tell us when.
Ed and I would be dropped off at any one of the beaches along the island and be left to our own devices, with nothing but a packet of biscuits and some water.
What makes this area interesting, and one of the reasons why we chose to come and look at it, was the great potential for biodiversity. But what really adds to the mix are the ocean currents and the movements of the ocean waters. From a biogeographical aspect, this is the story of where we are. Here we have the Horn of Africa, and up here, the western part of the Arabian Peninsula. So we have Yemen somewhere over here, and we have Oman over there. The Socotran archipelago sits out here, consisting of 4 islands. Somalia is over here.
This was no typical flats destination. The water off the beaches was deep, which made spotting fish difficult. It was beautiful, but evidence of a very hard life was apparent all over the island. Despite the true hardship of the locals, they were extremely friendly and accommodating. Many of the kids hadn't even seen Westerners before. It was a feeling that is hard to put into words.
This is where the local fishermen stay for some of the year. They can't really stay here all of the year because
For a good few months, 4 or 5 months, there's a massive monsoonal wind and the guys can't fish, so then they move to the mainland. Although the men are quite happy to be photographed and filmed, we are not allowed to film and photograph the ladies. Since I've been on the island now 2 weeks, I've seen one woman, and she was in the distance, and when she saw me, she started running. Mubarak. Salam.
Salam.
It's too hot today, huh? And another fucking plastic water bottle. And another fucking plastic lighter. And all within about 10 meters, another fucking plastic water bottle. You know, every time I see a plastic drinking water bottle, I get angry. Because no matter where I go in the world, no matter how far out, how far removed from civilization, I find plastic water bottles on the beach. I mean, look where we are. We're in an island in the middle of the ocean. We are nowhere near people who drink water out of plastic bottles. So it's like those little pieces of plastic, they're not inert, they're actually little toxic sponges. And they form part of the plankton. And the plankton is the base of the food chain. Walking along the beach here this morning, looking for a fish to cast at, and come across the most bizarre scene, that there are thousands of horse mackerel just washing out of the sea for no apparent reason.
Despite the islands being very much untouched, there was an abundance of plastic pollution. This inspired us to make a statement about how this pollution has serious negative consequences in an effort to educate people. The abundance of aquatic life was nothing short of incredible. I mean, the fishing was tough. There were sessions when we nearly blanked completely. It was very discouraging, but this is the nature of exploratory fishing. We persevered. We tried everything we could to ensure some degree of success, but we were always at the mercy of the environment.
They want to hold them to pound the water, basically that way. And then maybe get to a link out of the frame if you can. Oh. Back. Look.
Ah, shit. Here we go, here we go, here we go. What is that fish? Fast! Yes, yes. Come on. Yeah. You're coming to me now, baby. Oh, you're freaking. Shit. Okay. Onto the reef. That was a textbook case of how not to do it. Everything went wrong. Blistered finger, stripping glove came off, jammed in the stripping guide, too high angle on the rod broke. Ish, it's a tough country. That's it. Good bluefin. DIY teasing.
No matter where in the world you look for them, bonefish are almost always difficult to see. Some people say it's as if each of their silvery scales is a mirror, creating thousands of tiny reflections at the bottom of the ocean. But no matter how magical they are, they cannot cheat the laws of physics. And as long as there is sunshine, of which there is way too much here, they will always create a shadow. And it is that shadow that we hunt for. As a personal experience, it was often very demoralizing. Carrying a backpack full of heavy camera gear and as much water as I could carry was taking its toll. Due to all the physical exertion, we were always hungry. Anything we could find, we would try and eat.
Sushi is served. Yeah? Would be a lot better with soy sauce, eh?
We always had success catching some bizarre species, the most notable being a unicorn fish. These fish are probably not caught on the fly too often.
Guys, opening them out. As I look out over this beach now, there's just shapes moving everywhere. Most of those are things like unicorn fish and surgeon fish. I just managed to catch a very large, what I assume is a species of unicorn fish without the horn in the front. But we're seeing good numbers of wave garrick and salad fish and some bluefin trevally.
This place was paradise and hell at the same time.
Richard wanted me to say something about how hot it is today. But it's too hot for me to think about what to say. This is one of the Russian tanks. Apparently, the Russians set these tanks up sometime in the early 1970s. And that was when Yemen still consisted of two parts, the communist south and the Democratic Republic of Yemen in the north. Yeah, in 2.5 weeks, this is the only natural shade we found. Ew. The goats are so hungry here. This one's eating a t-shirt for lunch. That must be nice.
always nice to have a view when you go to the toilet. So, I'm marching to the top of this little mountain, from whence I shall have a great view while I drop one off in the sand.
The cliche says that travel broadens the mind, and that really is the truth. For nothing gives one a better understanding of how things work and how it all fits together than trying to see as much of the world as possible. But there are 3 very important items you need in your travel bag when you go to places beyond the unknown. And they are a good attitude, a good sense of humor, and above all, an open mind.
Plebs of Steyn. We've got my tent here. And my tent is marked with a dolphin propeller.
We're gonna eat tonight!
You got it, man.
You got it?
You got it.
And one off.
You got it, man.
This Darron is difficult with this one.
Yeah.
So I caught these 2 calamari and then we will eat in Italian fast food restaurant. This is the best part, la miglior parte. Not like that. You must eat. So we don't have nothing to cook it to make a very good, a proper Italian style.
Merita l'estinzione.
Una bomba. Maybe I'm not ready for the final. For MasterChef.
I think I'm ready, eh?
That's a bomb. This is a bomb. Pain, a lot of pain.
You have your knife? No. You want to have 3 or 4 episodes?
Was it hard? Sure, no doubt about it. Were there any regrets? Absolutely not. Despite having some bad days, the experience will always remain a positive life experience. Hopefully this film will inspire some of you to get out of your comfort zone and go see what's out there.